but she hadn't found the words. Hadn't been sure he'd understand, anyway. She'd shared that moment instead with Afia, and Afia alone. Afia, whose husband had died in a mortar attack before they could start a family. Afia, who in her grief had vowed never to marry again, and who had taken advantage of the sudden vastness of time spread in front of her to learn English, to volunteer, to work with the American Marines, and with Jess in particular, her conduit to the women in the valley and the secrets they wouldn't share with men. Those memories of Afia were painful, sure, but it was a different pain. Delicate, bittersweet. It was a pain Jess savored, no matter how much it hurt, because that was how she wanted to remember Afia. Those were memories she cherished. But mostly, it was the last memory, that final, bloody day that stuck in Jess's head and kept coming back. Afia was gone, but every night in her dreams, Jess saw her friend's face again, saw the blood in the dirt and heard the screams she'd later learned were her own. Something had woken her. Just what it was, Jess Winslow couldn't be sure, but she was awake now, wide awake, and lightning fast, too. Like she was back in the OP in the Hindu Kush, strapping on her body armor as someone triggered the alarm, listening to the sound of mortars launching, waiting for the boom. Except she wasn't over there anymore. She was here. America. Home, sacked out on the couch under a Pendleton blanket, the TV blaring infomercials, and God only knew what time it was. Dark outside. No light but the moon. Lucy whined, lifted her head from the floor, looked around. Those big black ears perked. She looked up at Jess and whined a little more. Whatever it was, it had scared the dog, too. Never mind, you big baby. It's probably just a deer. Jess sat up and rubbed sleep from her eyes, found the remote and turned down the TV. For a big, scary guard dog, you're kind of a wuss. Lucy grumbled like she wanted to contest the point, but decided better of it and laid her head back down. Kept her eyes fixed on the front door, though, and her ears at high alert. Though Lucy might have looked the part, the truth was she wasn't really a guard dog. There wasn't much that Jess owned that needed guarding. Companion animal, the VA doc had called her. Something to help you keep your mind over here. Lucy helped. Sort of. She was a mutt, probably pit bull, but not entirely. She had that square, blocky head and that big, dumb pit smile when she panted. But her body was long and more lean than stocky. A boxer, maybe, or some kind of retriever. Her hair was short and fine, jet black save a white snout and a stripe up her forehead, a patch on her neck and one on her belly, white socks on all four paws, and another patch like paint on the tip of her tail. She was a rescue, the lady at the agency had told Jess. A refugee from somewhere back east, from some assholes who'd aimed to fight her. The agency lady had sworn Lucy had never actually fought, the law having caught up to the assholes in question before they could actually chuck her into a pit. They hadn't even snubbed her tail or clipped her ears, and for that, Jess was glad. Lucy's ears were her most distinctive feature, velvet smooth and floppy like a Labrador retriever's. They channeled the dog's mood better than her perpetually sad eyes or even her bullwhip tail. Right now, Lucy's ears were standing rigid. There was something outside. Jess could sense it out there, was 98% sure she wasn't stuck in her head again, hearing phantom Taliban creeping through her front yard. Lucy whimpered once more, stood up straighter, glanced over at Jess, and took a couple of tentative steps toward the front door. And Jess knew neither she nor the dog was imagining anything. Whatever was out there, it was real. She pushed the blanket from her lap, stood, the light from the TV casting a bluish glow around the small living room. She crossed the room to the window and peered out into the night. Saw nothing but empty road and dark forest. And then she caught the glint of moonlight against American steel.